We are live on Joy News for the news review segment on the AM show. Welcome, folks. It's always a pleasure. Benjamin and I get to do this. Today is Friday, and he's looking really good in his orange plus blue African print jacket. It's the first
okay, here I was thinking it was like brown.
So it looks really good on you, Ben.
I have a few of these. I haven't used them in a while. Today, the spirit possessed me, and I decided to don one of them.
Good choice.
Thank you.
I see you're matching it with your brown. Is that a caveman watch? That's what you do to me, so I have to do that.
I can't believe you're doing this. I also love Kwame Nkrumah Boatio's Batakari. I've been fawning over it. Thank you. And we should...
Batakari?
I guess they are used interchangeably. Is it that the shorter ones are called what?
Honestly,
I call all
because
I see people interchange them, but I think there may be a difference. I don't know. Those who are better enlightened, please educate us, shoot us a message, and let's know what it is. But salutes to the people of Drapa.
Thank you.
Yeah, this looks beautiful.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay.
Right. Let's get into your thoughts. You know, like how we do it. We have 2 minutes to walk us through your trailer.
Before we do, though, can we talk about the cashback promo?
Yes, let me start by telling you that this year's CompuGhana cashback has been named as Prime Cashback Season, and it's packed with incredible deals and exciting surprises. Now, this Prime Cashback, CompuGhana, is bringing you exclusive discounts, prime savings, and awesome surprises when you shop products from any of their branches nationwide. You can find products from your favorite brands like Samsung, LG, TCL, HP, Lenovo, Dell, Media, Nasco, Tecno, Infinix, Itel, Huawei, and many more. Visit any of CompuGhana branches nationwide and enjoy exclusive discounts on all products. CompuGhana has a wide range of IT-related products, mobile phones, electronic products such as laptops, printers, desktops. Did I mention mobile phones already? Tablets, television, fridges, home theaters, air conditioners, gas cookers, and many more. What's more amazing is this year's Prime Cashback with CompuGhana has got great prizes with instant gifts and cash prizes for your shopping experience. So when you shop at CompuGhana this season, be on the lookout for the surprise team. Answer a question correctly and win instant cash and gifts. You deserve this opportunity too. So rush to CompuGhana now. And the promo runs from now till December. So visit CompuGhana.com or simply call 0302 752 020 for more information.
Let me also quickly tell you about Medicas Hospital. Your health is your wealth, they say. And Medicas is a modern healthcare facility built with your recovery in mind. They have spacious wards built with your family in mind, a warm and caring pediatric unit built with your children in mind, and they have also assembled some of the brightest minds in medicine led by Dr. Yawasa for the Drive Time Doctor to serve you. Now, they're offering general medical services such as specialist services in plastic surgery, obstetrics and gynecology, child health, urology, psychiatry, and eye care. In addition to boot, they offer a comprehensive medical diagnostic service encompassing endoscopies, medical laboratory services, x-rays, and scans. And they also have a 24-hour pharmacy, ensuring you will always receive efficacious, safe, and affordable medicine. You don't want to get just any medicine. And in addition to all of this, you would say that is all, but no, they are bringing to you the most powerful medicine of all. You know what? Simple human kindness and empathy. They pride themselves, they hold themselves to the highest attainable standards. And they accept all forms of payment as well. So don't worry, if you have private health insurance, you can also go to them and you'll be taken care of. Locate Medicas Hospital at number 10 Kinso Street near Ashale-Butche School Junction, and you can call them on 0501 477 340, 0501 477 340. On social media, Medicas GH, Medicas Hospital, a place of healing. Kwame Nkrumah Boatio is with us this morning for the news review, and I have seen him with his CPP, is it notebook?
Yes.
Little notebook. You remember back in the day, people would have these little notebooks. They call them what? Song books, where they would put in all these. This reminded me of that.
Thank you.
But let's get to your thoughts this morning now.
Thank you. And it's good to be here, sandwiched between the two of you. It's a real privilege. And I want to say a good morning to my flag bearer, Nana Kosia from Poma Sapon, Komankoma, and your cherished viewers. Two things on my mind this morning. The Supreme Court decision on the parliamentary saga and the current cholera outbreak. I will start with the Supreme Court decision, which authored by His Lordship Justice Yao Asare-Dako. I have read the decision. I really looked forward to the decision because I was one of those that, even though I tilted a bit towards the position that Parliament had overstepped its bounds when it comes to interpretation of Article 97, I am glad that with the decision from the Supreme Court, it has brought clarity to the matter, especially the concluding part that says Article 97, 1G and H must be understood within their contextual framework, with no implicit or explicit indication that they pertain to future electoral aspirations. That one line sums it all up for me. I think it would open the door to a lot of instability in our democracy if the ruling was otherwise. And I would want to commend their lordships for this erudite ruling. And secondly, regarding the cholera outbreak, I've been following it closely because a lot of us are concerned about the environmental issues that we have around, the sanitation issues, and the news that 16 people had lost their lives to cholera was indeed shocking. And I have been quite concerned about it, especially with the backdrop of this problem that never goes away, the pollution of our water bodies by galamsey. Because now you have people engaging all kinds of mechanisms, trying to use, I've forgotten the name, but an aluminium-based component to put in their water in order to try and cleanse it. And apparently, it does not cleanse the water of the impurities. It may make it a bit clearer, but the water is still impure. Heavy metals. Exactly. So I think this current cholera outbreak should be looked into closer. I know that most of the time, cholera is caused by maybe people preparing food with unwashed hands and having fecal matter in the food, etc., etc., which means that people are probably forced into using other sources of water to cook their food. And I think the authorities should look closer into this cholera outbreak to see whether it has any correlation with the current pollution of our water bodies by galamsey. I'm no scientist and I cannot draw any conclusions on it, but the more I hear about this outbreak, the more I'm convinced that there may be a link with what is happening. And the final thing on my mind is the announcement by the Electoral Commission about the disqualification of the GFP candidates. And I pray that we find a good resolution to this matter, because it would be a strange phenomena, because this is not a district assembly election or. But is there no, pardon my interjection, is there no resolution already? The EC has said he presented documents that were fraught with some errors, and I have said that some of those things ought to be checked as well, not just this person, Roman father, as he is affectionately called, but in previous events where people have, if there's forgery, if there's let's deal with it so that maybe some of these things will be lessened. But in his unique case, he was given another, I think, a 10-day or 1 week window to regularize, and still there were problems in there. And they have said that Akufo-Addo will remain on the ballot, and that is it. But they are not going to reprint because it will cost the ordinary taxpayer many more millions. I mean, it wouldn't have made sense to me to say because of that, you're going to reballot or reprint. That would cost a whole lot of money. So I don't get what exactly you're... I agree with you on the first part. The EC, they are very diligent when it comes to looking through the forms to make sure that everything is right. Because if you're going to represent this country, you have to make sure that you do your due diligence. You have to make sure that you have the required integrity. But regarding the second part of Akufo-Addo remaining on the ballot. I think that is a bit of a problem because we have a large number of illiterates or semi-illiterates who are part of the electorate. And these people, not all of them may understand, may understand this issue. So I believe the EC must find a way to either perforate the box where Akufo-Addo's image is, or either the stamp that is put on the ballot paper before we vote, that stamp may be put in that box. Otherwise, you have a lot of people voting for her and having spoiled ballots, or voting for her mistakenly thinking they are voting for the CPP candidate, who's the only woman on the ballot.
So, yes, I think in some instance too, we have to give voters some credibility. I mean, there's education going on. A lot of people have heard that. You know, unfortunately, she's met her maker. I think it can be dealt with.
Very well.
Okay, let's get into the newspaper. I want to start with the Daily Graphic. It says President Akufo-Addo received France's highest award. On the 4 MPs Seat ruling, Supreme Court gives reasons for its decision. I know you started by giving us your reflections on that. DBG profitable, well-governed, according to the management. And let me see what this award is. So France has bestowed its highest national honor of merit on President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. The National Order of the Legion of Honor was conferred on the president at a ceremony at the French presidency in Paris yesterday. The president of France, Emmanuel-Macron, personally decorated President Akufo-Addo with the Grand Officer of the Legion Honor, the Order Medal at the ceremony. And this Legion of Honor is the highest honor of, where's the continuation of the story, merit given by France to individuals who have provided exceptional services to France or defended causes and ideals that France supports, such as democracy, human rights, press freedom, and humanitarian services. So our president has received that highest honor of merit from France. Let me quickly run through some major stories in the Daily Graphic, and then I'll come to you for your reflections. The Development Bank Ghana has announced a net profit of 80.14 million Ghana cedis in 2023 fiscal years. They said they are profitable and well-governed. Fiscal crisis, unrest, herald Senegal polls, and 2016-2020 promises, Gabi versus Magdan. That's an interesting read. You should pick a copy of that for yourself. Republican win 218 U.S. House seats. King Charles celebrates 76th birthday by opening food hubs. What I do want to get into a little bit more is the Supreme Court's reason for declaring, or for, what's influenced that ruling for saying that the Speaker's interpretation was, should I say, inaccurate. The Supreme Court has held that a member of Parliament does not vacate his seat if he intends to contest in a future election on the ticket of another political party other than the one that brought him to the House. In a 5-2 majority decision, the Supreme Court upheld the suit by Majority Leader Alexander Afenyo-Markin, and in that Article 97, Clause 1G and H of the Constitution, which form the basis for the Speaker of Parliament to declare 4 seats in the House vacant, pertain to future parliaments and not the current. Let me finish these stories. I'll come again and ask some questions on this matter before we proceed. BICAF Kayaye Leadership Fair held in Bogatanga. 3rd batch of girls in ICT training begins in Ashanti region. Battle for Dome-Kwabenya intensifies. Hopefully we'll get there and gauge what the constituents are asking for, what will inform their voter choice, hopefully in the course of next week. And let me do some more stories here. What else do we have? This is an opinion, says politicians admonition revisited. $200 million tree crop diversification project launched. The government, in partnership with the World Bank, has launched the Ghana Tree Crop Diversification Project in Accra. The 6-year project would be funded with a 200 million credits from the International Development Association of the World Bank, and it involves the production, processing, and trading in 6 high-value tree crops such as cashew, shea, mango, coconut, rubber, and oil palm. On addressing mental health issues, religious bodies have a role, says Professor Joseph Osafo. And let me see what's on the back page of the Daily Graphic. Reports to tackle Accra's urban challenges launched. So in a significant step towards transforming Accra into a sustainable and inclusive city, the Accra City Synthesis Report has been launched. This is a comprehensive study developed in partnership with the African Cities Research Consortium and offers evidence-based strategies to address the capital city's urbanization challenges. And it is based on extensive research and stakeholder consultation and identifies 6 key issues facing Accra. They comprise of infrastructure deficits, housing shortages, weak land use enforcement, limited management reforms, ineffective waste disposal systems, and the growth of informal settlement. Off the top of my head, I can agree with this. But before I come to you, the question is, so what do we do with the concerns of these 2 dissenting judges on how this precedent, because it is, could influence future issues of this sort? Their main issue is that if this is a procedural issue, why is the Supreme Court entertaining this when ideally it should have gone to the High Court? What are we? I've had a lot of commentary come in, and I'm interested to know what are we making of those 2 dissenting judges' concerns, because indeed it is a procedural issue that could come back in the future. And before we know it, the Supreme Court's taking over power over Parliament. You can step in at any time and say, you know what, this is what you're doing, and I don't think it is right. Do it that way. What do you make of this? And then the other stories that I touched on.
I respectfully differ a bit with the dissenting opinion that it is a procedural issue. I have heard various other views on the case. But in my estimation, this is a purely constitutional issue. Okay. As much as it is a procedural issue in the sense that the Speaker may have used the wrong procedure in declaring the seats vacant.
No, what I meant by was it should have been sent to the High Court first, rather than going straight to the Supreme Court. That's what I'm trying to...
Because what happened is that the Speaker exercised a power that is in the exclusive domain of the Supreme Court.
Which power was that?
Which is...
In fact, the Speaker, well, various things have been said, but it was said that he didn't make a decision on it. He only expressed an opinion and left it there. And that if they had even spoken to the Clerk of Parliament, they would find out that they were still on the majority side. So which power? And in any case, Afenyo-Markin's petition, what was it based on? There was no decision on which it was hinged. So what exactly? I want to understand your point.
The Speaker, from what I have read and heard, made a ruling. He did make a ruling and declared the seats vacant. And when you make a ruling on a constitutional provision that has not been tested under 1922 Constitution, then that power that
he had not been tested?
Yes, as far as I know, 97 1G with regards to the current situation has not been tested, because this is not a situation where the MPs crossed carpets to go and vote on the side of the NPP. This is a situation where the MPs decided that in the upcoming election, they were going to contest on either as independent or on other party tickets. So in that sense, 97 1G, by the Speaker exercising that power, he had exercised a power that, in my humble view, is in the remit of the Supreme Court. And even though I have heard views that it is a ruling
but even in addressing these matters, 99, which follows from 97 1, yes, A to the following clauses, and then 99 talks about the High Court dealing with these matters. But I just have, because sometimes, while the law is not always common sense or what you think should be applicable based on wisdom or emotions or even morals, right?
Yeah.
Common sense does come in various ways. So my question is, if the law is that once you do this, once you cross carpets, these must be the actions. The Supreme Court court says, on the face of it, this is not what it means. So those MPs, at whatever time within their tenure, let's assume the same scenario repeats itself. They've not resigned. They are in Parliament.
Yeah.
What purpose then does the law serve? Because then do you realize that the law becomes redundant? It is there, but they can go independent for the next elections, or they can switch and practically nothing happens. You understand that, right?
Yes. If you switch in the course of the parliamentary proceedings itself, assuming next year, one independent member says that he's now a member of the NPP, or an NDC parliamentary member says that, or even a CPP parliamentary member says that, I am giving up my membership of the CPP. I am now a member of the NDC. That is in real time. He has changed.
What's the difference? Exactly the same thing happened with the Fomena MP, Honorable ACM. I mean, we can play with this, but realistically, you usually wouldn't have a member of parliament. You see, this would usually practically always happen when elections are approaching. Do you get it? It will likely not happen in the middle of the tenure.
Exactly.
So that point is moot.
I understand you.
It will only become relevant around these periods where some people will feel aggrieved, some people will go independent. It's only around this period this thing will really happen. I mean, it could happen otherwise, but realistically, this is where it will happen. What we are doing then is saying that it will usually happen around this time, but even when it happens, nothing is going to take place. That is why I'm saying the law must make sense, right?
I understand you. I understand you. So and I think that as time progresses, I also understand the concerns of the minority, the dissenting view. But Parliament, the Supreme Court itself is able to depart from its previous decisions if it feels that they were made in error. So as much as I totally agree with this Supreme Court decision, I don't think we should be too worried about how it will play out in future. If in future we look at the context of our democracy, then the Supreme Court sitting then can decide to depart from the previous decision. So as much as I agree with this decision totally.
You say can decide, so as and when it suits, should I say, wherever the wind is blowing and who is at the top of, who is heading the Supreme Court, they decide in what way to interpret it.
Well, there's judicial review and all of that. But the reality too is that when you have justices who, like in the US, I always like to go to the US, 6-3. Most cases you would see, I found it interesting when some people, had even prophesied that it would be 5-2. Based on what they made that prophecy, what crystal ball they looked into, I do not know. But the point is, in the US, for example, on a number of issues, you can determine from those that are conservative and those that are liberal, how it will go. You can determine these 6 likely will vote this way, and these 3 likely will vote this way. Remember, the justices of our courts have tenure for life, at least until retirement.
Yes, until 70.
But
Ghana, until 70.
It's a tenure that very little can do to truncate unless there are certain constitutional triggers or they have performed some egregious acts for which, like you remember Anas, I think it's number 12.
Yes.
And some of them, had to be set aside. So that is the reality. So when these decisions are taken, mind you that these people are going to be there for a long time. It's not about when some other, those are the dynamics.
Well,
but I think we should move the conversation.
That is true.
We should move to other bits.
Okay, but that's that for me. Do you have some quick reflection, any other stories?
Yes.
So let's get into your newspaper.
Okay. Another story that really touched me is, the CPP, we are all about the ordinary man on the street.
Which paper are you reflecting on?
No, the stories I did.
The story
from the graphic.
Yeah.
About the Kayaye leadership training in Bolgatanga. I think the last time I was here, we spoke about, or somewhere else, we spoke about the current happenings in the Upper East region. And I think I made the point that when the youth are trained in skills, when they have something to do, then they will not become cannon fodder for instability. So when I saw this Kaya leadership training program in Bolgatanga, when we mentioned it, I was very happy.
Okay.
And I think that should be the tangent which all political parties, all CSOs, that should be our mindset. Once the youth are busy, once they have something that brings in income, then we'll have all this instability.
Right.
And then, as the saying goes, so the devil finds work for idle hands.
True.
When you are enjoying what you do, or even if you don't know what to do and you are given something to do, you earn money from it, it's perfect.
So
another,
it's commendable, huh?
it's commendable.
Right.
Another story too you mentioned is the $200 million tree crop project. It's also laudable. It's also laudable because we know that trees are the lungs of the earth. As they say, even the Amazon forest is a lung of the earth. And whenever you don't have trees, you cut down your trees, you open yourself up to a lot of issues, flooding and all that. So this $200 million tree crop project is good about cashew, shea, mango. But my concern is that, are these organic tree crop products or are they GMO? Because we really have to be careful about this GMO issue. I know people have a lot of views about it. The CPP has been in court on this GMO issue for many years now, because basically, I believe there isn't enough education on it. The GMO issue simply means that when you buy these cashew, shea, or mango seedlings, after you have harvested, you have to go and buy the seedlings again. You cannot reuse them. These seedlings expire. So we need to take a closer look at this $200 million thing and make sure that these are organic seedlings. If they are GMO seedlings, then I believe that we should not go the way that the two major parties have gone. This GMO issue started in 2011 under the NDC. NPP too carried it on. We have to be very careful what we do to our farmers and the ordinary man by selling them seeds that expire and they have to go and buy from the West. And the next one is a mental health issue about religious bodies having a role. I think it's a step in the right direction. As a religious person myself, I believe that sometimes these mental health issues have their religious aspect. But I'm still of the view that when someone has a mental health issue, try and go to the health facility first. And then you also, at the same time, employ the religious aspect to it.
All right.
So for the sake of time, we're going to have to accelerate on some of these issues.
So let's get into your paper then.
Okay.
A bit quickly.
Okay. So I have here the custodian, where on the front page you have Akufo-Addo receives France's highest national award. We all know His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo has close ties with France. He did some of his law practice there. So if the French president has found him worthy to be awarded, I think it's a well-deserved award for service to France. But when it comes to service to Ghana, as a legal practitioner myself, he has done a lot for the legal sector. As Attorney General, he was part of those who brought about the fast-track court system, which till today has sped up this, justice delivery in our courts. But I think we shouldn't let this award divert our attention from the Galamsey issue and other issues. I think he has done well. He deserves this award, but we should not let it slide. We should remember the other issues. And then we also have Bawumia is best man for Ghana now. President Kufuor and His Excellency President Kufuor is one of the presidents that I admire very much. The gentle giant. During his era, I was doing my national service in Jirapa, and that was the era of I've forgotten that debt recovery, debt forgiveness program. I forgot. HIPIC, the time of HIPIC. And when HIPIC started, I was one of those who opposed HIPIC But driving from, or in the bus from Accra to Jirapa throughout the country, I saw a lot of HIPIC projects. I mean, he's one president I admire very much for the policies that he did for this country. And he's saying Bawumia is best man for Ghana. Well, I leave that to the electorate. But let's remember there's only one woman on the ballot. Ghana is from 1957. I mean, Ghana is, I think, about 67 years old now. And it is time to try a woman. We are nearing our retirement. It's time to try. He may be the best man for Ghana. But who is the best woman for Ghana? There's only one woman on the ballot box, and we should look at her. Okay. And then
one last story from you, and then we go to Ben.
Okay. The last story is Fidelity Bank partners UNFPA to end obstetric fistula in Ghana. That is also a story that touches my heart. Fistula is something that, as far as I know, does not affect men. It affects only women. And we believe that it is in the right direction. A lot of our policies, a lot of our financing goes only to general issues that affect both men and women. But in my view, women's issues need more attention. So this is a step in the right direction. I want to commend them for that.
Thank you, Osajifo. Benjamin.
Well, a number of stories in the Daily Guide newspaper where I'm starting. Some of them have been looked at. French President honors Nana. 4 MPs Seat saga. Why Supreme Court overturned Speaker. And Bawumia, best man to lead Ghana, according to Akufo. All of those stories have already been delved into. But 2 Ghanaian, 2 Chinese galamseyers open defense. And Nana Kwame Opoku, a Ghanaian charged together with 2 Chinese for illegal mining in the Ashanti region, yesterday opened his defense before a high court in Accra. He was arrested together with Li Weiguo and Ximei Ji, a Chinese couple, and have all been charged with conspiracy to undertake mining operations without license, contrary to certain sections, of course, of the Criminal Offences Act. Interestingly, in South Africa, there's a situation where some miners got into a shaft, an unused shaft, and the government is refusing to assist them get to the surface. And I think if we got more radical with illegal mining, some of these things, in that instance, hundreds of South Africans are in that illegal mine shaft. And the government says, no, we are not going to, do this. You knew what you were getting into. Then, also on page 3, the Electoral Commission has started distributing ballot papers to all 16 regions of the country ahead of the December 7 general election. Our prayer is that things go according to plan and that we can avoid any problematic situations. There's, let me just do a few. Kofi Nti, Tyler Perry settle copyright dispute. And of course, his song Odonyum, I've been following that issue, used in the Sisters series of Tyler Perry. And he says his lawyer in the UK triggered a process. He sang that song together with Oforian Ponsa, and he says he's got some, monetary consideration for the use of his song, but he didn't mention how much he got. I'm sure he's smiling all the way to the bank on that one. Let me just, there was another bit I quickly wanted to look at, and it's a wrap for me. So, rise in unsafe sexual activities worrying. There is a rising increase in sexual activities without the use of condoms among the youth in the country. The observation is contained in a communique issued at the end of a 3-day conference by the Society of Obstetrics and Gynecologists of Ghana, SOGOG as they are called, held in Akufo-Addo. And there is a worrying increase in sexual activity, including a rapidly declining age of sexual debut among the adolescent population, but low rates of condom use. There are significant gaps in the integration of HIV and sexually transmitted infection screening with other health services. And again, there is minimal use of technology or virtual platforms to reach the adolescent population with sexual and reproductive health education. So these are all issues to be looked at. ALMA trains female journalists on election reportage. The Alliance of Women in Media in Africa, in collaboration with the UN Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization, organized a 2-day workshop in Accra aimed at empowering women in the media space. That's definitely a good thing. In sports, Angola coach taunts Ghana. And yesterday it went well for us as far as Sudan were beaten by Niger, a thumping of 4-0. But the question is, can we beat the Angolans? They say if you play enough with a dog, it will lick your face. Of course, we all have pets and all of that, but if you give room, you'll be treated as you deserve, and we've given room, so we are where we are. The Inquisitor, Bank of Ghana's exchange rates are artificially created. That's according to Dr. Echiahene, Richmond Echiahene. I've been following that issue. You can grab details of that. Agojo stinks Dampare again. Personnel transferred for attending funeral with Mami Tiwa. That's another story there. And ABC News, we have taken you as our son. Akufo regent says to Dr. Baumia. I like how all these chiefs and regents and stuff against what the Constitution says are, applauding and deciding, oh, we support this person, we support that person. I hope someday, if maybe the person they were not expecting to win does win, and maybe the person says, like our president said, oh, I didn't develop that area because of this and that, they will not start crying. I sincerely hope so, because I don't see why these chiefs can't remain in the middle. And if this person comes, I say, Missy Ba, bless the person, wish the person well. If the other person comes, bless the person, wish the person well, without necessarily saying, I support this person or that. I don't get it, but I'm sure there are things that happen that beat my imagination. So that's that. I'm done here. Any quick reflections?
Writing something, so let's give you the final word.
Yes.
This will be in about a minute. We have to go.
Sure. I have 3 things down here, and I'll go quickly. Empowering women in the media space is a good thing. I'm always biased towards affirmative action, giving women the upper hand. And secondly, we have taken you as our son. And I understand where you are coming from. The Constitution says chiefs should not engage in politics. But some of their statements, you can see they are taking a bit of a middle ground, saying that they are not really endorsing.
Some are outrightly endorsing them, asking people to vote for them and all that, canvassing for vote.
Anyone who, I'm not talking about people taking middle ground. Yeah. I'm talking about people going
all out.
Bahama is going to be president. Okay. Baumia is going. I'm saying that such people and their communities, while the whole of Ghana is supposed to be developed, you can't tell. People can be very vindictive and all of that. If you suffer, in fact, it is so irresponsible. If the people in your locality suffer because of your reckless comments, what do you think you've done?
Yeah, it's true. And then finally, unsafe sexual activities. I mean, it's a big problem. It's a big problem. I have been through the media looking for, political stories that advance, but all you see is issues about promiscuity, people hailing adultery, this whole, it's not something that is new to anybody, this whole Equatorial Guinea thing. And I think we should go the way that Australia has gone in banning under-16s from social media. Because now people think it is normal to be promiscuous, to be adulterous. But even if you're not religious, you know that promiscuity and adultery breaks the home and is bad for the mental health of the children, spouses, society, as a whole. If Ghana is going to stand against LGBT, which I agree with perfectly, it should also stand against promiscuity, adultery, side chickism, which leads to this unsafe sexual activities. We must take a stand. We must not be biased. And
thank you so much for coming. Kwame Nkrumah is General Secretary of the CPP. And he says side chickism is the problem. I like that. Benjamin Akakpo, we have to go. Who's coming up?
Well, we do. We have Mikhail Antonio. He's a West Ham forward, and our very own Muftau Nabila Abdullahi has been interacting with him. He visited Ghana, and his interaction will be coming up after the break.